Hello, everybody. It's me, TONIK TZW, here in the Tier 7 Premium American Battleship, the Alabama. This is an old video. I've got a lot of videos on the PlayStation that I'm just going through, trying to work out what's good for the channel and what's not worthy of being put online. This one is a bit of a Spud Run. If you've seen the playlist, you'll know all about Spud Runs. And we're on Two Brothers. And it's going to be one of those games where you really wish that people would keep their eyes open as to what's going on around the map and move to support. It's what I'm going to do. Now, I spawn center, and because I am a battleship and there's no destroyers in this game, it's unlikely that there's going to be a destroyer come charging through the middle. Somebody is obviously at some point going to try their luck and push through the middle, and we're going to do what we can to counter that. But for the time being, there is a lot of open water. The reason I'm moving to the left is because basically everybody just sits on the, as we look at it, on the right-hand side of the map on the corner. And so I think, well, we can get some shots into open water across here. And if we're able to, then we can get a push. We've got all our guns on. We are running a legendary dispersion mod on this one. So for every 30,000 damage that we get, we are getting an extra 2% reduction in our dispersion. And for every kill that we get, in fact, we're not running a legendary, we're running an epic. I think I've since upgraded it to a legendary. So yeah, we're getting an extra reduction in our dispersion of 2% for every 30,000 damage. If you don't know how to create epic and legendary mods, you simply go into the module on the screen, and I believe on PlayStation it's press square, and that will cost you 500 steel for an epic mod, and then it will cost you another 2,000 steel to put that up to a legendary mod. Now, if you do upgrade it to legendary, obviously the maximum you're going to get is an additional 10% reduction in your dispersion. For that, you'll have to have 150,000 damage under your belt. But for every kill that you get, you will also do an additional 5% increased damage. Now we're looking at this Algery, and even though we do lead the shot from where auto aim is telling us, and we are pretty much flat broadside to a lot of ships out there, which isn't a good place to be, we are going to start to turn an angle because we're looking at the Iowa, we're looking at the Nagato, there is an Anhalt there as well. And some of these guys, I think it's just a lack of knowledge about the capabilities of the different ships because there are already guys in range of that Anhalt secondaries, and you don't want to be there. We put a shot out on the Nagato. That is going to drop an absolute beauty of a citadel through him and take a huge chunk of his health away from them. And if everybody did have their eyes open, then what they'll be doing is looking to focus that Anhalt. I don't know what battleship this is here just in front of me, but he is now sailing a little bit too close and a little bit too flat broadside to all those ships out there. Our cruisers again focused, and we are going to go bow in, and we're going to try and keep in our position so that when the Anhalt fires, there we go, it's an Amagi. If he'd just seen what happened to the Nagato out there, he wouldn't be sailing broadside across in front of all these ships. But we're going to do what we can to get fire onto this Anhalt because he's feeling brave, and he knows he's got good secondaries, and he is going to push. I'm still spotted, which is telling me there's a cruiser out there on the flank. I imagine it's the Miyoko with low concealment, but we are going to try and pull a 180 here and stay undetected until we can get angled out. There we are. We're spotted again. We're going to go on the Anhalt again. He is bowing. There's probably not a lot we can do, but the Iowa is coming charging in too. And we don't do a great deal of damage, but there are torpedoes heading his way. One of our cruisers is in smoke, and it's at this moment in time that I realize that red team are pushing very, very hard on the other flank because our Boise somehow parked between the rocks managed to get himself torpedoed by, I think it was a Zara, but we'll get to him in a little while. So we are going to keep kiting over this way. We're going to keep firing at targets of opportunity as our turrets come up. We've got a North Carolina there that I'm broadside to. That's not good. We have another battleship there that is flat broadside to the North Carolina as well. But I'm just thinking, let's see what I can do to help these guys out on this flank as I push across to the other side. We have got a Japanese cruiser on our team. He's the guy that's all the way there at the back of the map. And he's kiting away and trying to do what he can. The Anhalt is burning, the Anhalt is flooding, and the guys seem to be doing the right thing and keeping the pressure on him to try and get rid of them. There we go. It's an Eastern Dragon, one of those absolutely awful ships that they put in the store a long time ago, along with the Southern Dragon. I think it's basically a Miyoko with an awful camouflage on it. I think it's a Miyoko. But there are two cruisers out here that we can't see yet, but we're trying to bring them into range. And I'm pinging the map to tell the team, hey, look, focus these guys. But there's also going to be a York up here. But there we go. It's the Zara. And he's at maximum range pretty enough. Pretty much. So our shells are going to take a long time to get there, and if he's playing agile, he's going to get plenty of time to get out of the way of them. But we are going to let them know that we are going to push, and we are going to try and put a block on these guys. Now the Zara has those long-range slow torpedoes. The York has shorter range torpedoes. I'm not worried about him. And I'm just trying to keep myself out of the range of the North Carolina. But we'll turn our attention to him soon. This York was a very good player, knew exactly what he was doing, and I think he knew how to use them game mechanics to his advantage, but I didn't fall for any of his traps. But he is playing very agile. You'll see that as soon as we fire our shells, he's actually turning, but we are going to actually play the player a little bit later with this one. We lose our King George V to the North Carolina, and the North Carolina is starting to push in. But the Zara has overrun his smokescreen. York disappears. Turrets are up and loaded, and so as this Zara starts a turn, we know that basically his rudder is going over to put him in that turn, and it's going to take him time to get out of that turn. We hit him for a citadel, take him out. York gets us on fire, but we've got a good, healthy set of hit points still available there. So we're going to allow this fire to tick. The York knows that he's in trouble, and so he's going to turn and kite away, and we are going to play with our throttle. And I think it's this salvo where I fire one turret only, so one ping and one ping only. No, not this one. But there we go. We've slowed right down. We're letting this fire burn. We know that North Carolina is there. We know we're still spotted by the York. And I think it's about this time that, there we go, the Rook is going to appear in the center of Two Brothers. And he is going to push in, but we aren't going to leave him without a little bit of attention. And we are going to put some shots out there at him as we lose our York and our Amagi from the other flank. Now, this Eastern Dragon would have been really helpful to put some pressure on that Rook or even on this North Carolina, get a couple of fires going, whittle down their hit points, because it is 4 ships plays 6, which isn't good. I'm coming up on 90k damage. Well, actually, we've broken 90k damage. That's brought up our epic mod to a 3 times multiplier. We start moving just in time to not get a clattering off that Rook. But the North Carolina is doing North Carolina things. He knows his bow is strong and he's pushing in. I'm going to try and draw the Rook out, but he's actually being sensible and he's backing up. And what I'm doing by pushing forward here is trying to keep the corner of that island on the channel between me and the rook so he doesn't get a broadside shot on me. But the York is feeling brave again. He's seen that my fires have gone out and he's decided to come in and try and set another fire on me. And he's going to have a bit of luck at doing that. Turns out RNG screws us on that salvo and we miss every single shell. And like I said, I was figuring this guy out. He was watching for the shots. He was moving as soon as the shots came in. So we fire one turret. We see the turn immediately there. We're going to pop our heel and fire the second turret at where he was going to be. And you'll see now that my positioning here is keeping that rook out of the ability to be able to come out and get a broadside shot on me. But it is the North Carolina that we need to get rid of. He is on our cap, and that is stopping us from our from accumulating the 3 points that we get. But we're going to get rid of him. Kill number 2, and we're still on 4 ships, and the York is still being a royal pain in the backside. We've lost, what, 25 to 30% of our hit points here. We're going to let this fire burn. We've got 50 seconds before we've got to heal. But the York is going to make a mistake because he's going to start kiting away again, and he's going to start kiting away in a straight line. But you'll see that red team have pushed hard down the other flank now, and as much as those guys are doing what they can to hold them back, it's not really working. Get another fire set on us there, but the York is going to go out for kill number 3 as we pick up a Confederate, and I'm going to try and get my turrets locked onto this Iowa. But at the same time, I know that this rook is inside that channel. So what I can't do is sail out in front of that channel and risk taking a full broadside. We're going to pop our last heel there, and I'm thinking Iowa, flat broadside to me. Alabama guns, we've got a hell of a shot there, but we don't lead him enough to hit that citadel. They all land towards the rear of the ship, so we lead him a little bit more. Are we going to get a better hit out of this one? We're angling out. We pick up a high caliber on 140,000 damage, but the Iowa is kind of discovering that perhaps he doesn't want to be entirely flat broadside to me. Yeah. We do have a Synop there who is sailing away, and if you've ever played the Synop, you'll know that the one thing that you don't do with that is give up any kind of broadside to any kind of ship, because they are just going to punch holes straight through you, and that's pretty much exactly what happens there. We put 2 shots out at the Nagato. We're going to bring our rear turret onto the Iowa, who is now going bow into us. And I really want to get turned. I know we've got a cruiser out there on the side, and I'm hoping, can you get some fire onto that Nagato there? Because this is what we need to win. We are around 50 points down, but if we can kill a ship, we can pull this one back towards us. We know where the rook is. We can see the Iowa. We can see the Nagato. And all we need to do is literally the 3 of us to stay alive and to get one more kill. The clock is running down. We're under 2 minutes now. I can see that the Iowa is burning, and that's good for us. Damage control at any point now, and I will switch to high explosive and put another fire onto this guy. And to be frank, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But we're going to fire those 3 turrets of AP. We're going to try and drop detection behind this island. There we go. He is blind to us, but it is the cruisers that have him spotted now. I can't see the Nagato. The cruiser on the right-hand side of the mini-map is, I think, reversing behind the island. The guy has a solid game, but there is the rook poking his head out again. And I'm trying to get a shot here, but that island, that little rocky outcrop, blocks the shot. That could potentially have been a game saver, but we've loaded high explosive. The Iowa has damage controlled, and we do get a fire on them. So that's obviously what I like to call a stick and tick. We're switching back to armor piercing. because that rook is there, but he's seen the writing on the wall. He understands what he needs to do to win. Our cruiser still hasn't got eyes on that Nagato, and I've got 6 seconds to go for a reload. We are literally in the last 20 seconds there of the game. Was it the last 30 seconds? All three of them shoot at the Iowa, myself and the two cruisers, but the Iowa is going to land a shot on the Eastern Dragon. So even though we brought the win to us on points with the kill on the Iowa, the Eastern Dragon goes out to the Iowa, throwing the game back in their favor, and red team are going to take the win on that one. 170,000 damage, say, high caliber Confederate. We picked up the Confederate before the high caliber. As I said there, the Zara had a very good game. I finished second for our team. And if you look at the base XP results there, 1 and 2 for our team actually beat positions 2 and 3 for red team, and they had a 50% win bonus. So that was an absolutely disappointing defeat. Thought we had it in the closing seconds, but unfortunately, we lost the cruiser in those closing seconds and gave the win back to red team. So sometimes it doesn't matter whether or not you have done your bit, because sometimes your bit is just not enough. Smash the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel, and as always, until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.